Well, hello, and good evening. Another time. We're excited to be here. My name is Cherie McGee, if you can already see, with Try Now Consulting. I'm a senior consultant with Try Now Consulting. We assist first year teachers with effective classroom management, and we also assist parents who are finding themselves challenged in their roles with their children. So excited to be here today with Miss Danielle, who is also titled The Chief Wellness Coach. You all saw the title Reignite Your Passion. So, this is a night for the teachers, you all. Reset for teachers. We're going to reignite your passion tonight. Excited to be here with Danielle. And as always, we want you to come in. We want you to like and share, and we want you to participate. Got any questions, any comments, any feedback? Go ahead and drop it. This is fully interactive, you all right? All right, so as stated, I got the beautiful Miss Danielle with me, Danielle Bridges. And as always, I like for people to introduce themselves because I feel like you can do it best. So we're going to get right into it, Danielle. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Danielle Bridges from New Orleans, Louisiana. As Cherie said, I am the Chief Wellness Coach of Ingenuity Consultants, and our mission is actually reigniting your passion for teaching and learning. So, this is going to be great. I'm super excited for being here on this platform to share with you all. Thank you for Cherie for having me, and let's get into it.
Absolutely. All right, so let's just start by laying a little groundwork like we always do. So, why did you become a teacher?
Oh, that's a good question. First off, let me state this. Teaching was not always my first choice.
Okay.
I actually started off in nursing, and I always knew that I wanted to help someone. I went through nursing school, and I had a moment of realization when I was working at a hospital, and it was just too much. It was too many different things that I had to encounter. And so one day I called my husband. I said, "Baby, I'm getting ready to leave." And so he said, "Come on." So I walked off the job. Uh, I realized nursing was not what I wanted to do, but like I said, I always knew that I wanted to help people. So one day I was cleaning out my closet, new wife, new mom, still trying to figure out some things, finding myself. And so I found a letter that I wrote to my future self from high school.
Oh,
And
wow.
yes, believe it or not, that letter actually outlined my entire life. The
Wow.
age that I wanted to get married, how many kids I wanted to have, and my career job was actually to be a teacher. So I said, okay, God, I hear you talking. And it is amazing how God just brings you through different things in life because with my nursing background,
Mhm.
I have actually been able to take care of my family members, my husband, my mother in law, my children. So that is how I got into education. And I was able to reflect back on the teacher, and I wish that I can find Miss Landry. I love Miss Landry. Hey, Miss Landry, if you happen to be listening. She was my middle school reading and writing teacher, and she made it known to me that she saw me. And even with the different things that I was coming with as a adolescent,
Mhm.
growing up, different traumas and different things that I dealt with,
Mhm.
she was very vocal in my life, and she made an imprint on my heart. So that is what helped me to really understand and accept my calling as a teacher. I believe that educators have a calling. I believe that it is very important that we are there for our students and educating the community and the village. So being an educator is very important to me, and it, like I said, it was just a calling. It was a calling. That's what made me want to do it. And I became an educator because of the urge, because of the calling, because of the push. Um, I began to pursue my career after I found the letter. I first received my associate and then my bachelor's, and then I went on to receive my master's, and in the hopes of becoming a principal. Well, on that journey, God began to then tell me, okay, it's time for you to pivot. So that is how I've pivoted into my consulting, which is Ingenuity Consultants.
Absolutely love it. I agree with you so much. Teaching is a calling. And I love what you said, that teacher. What's her name again?
Miss Landry.
Miss Landry. We got to keep saying her name. Miss Landry. She saw you. She
Yes, from
saw you.
yes.
That touched me deep. I understand that. She saw you. That was really, really good. All right. So, well, let's get into it. Let's reignite this passion. Let's talk about it.
All right. So yes, I am super excited to be talking about this because it just goes with the pivot that I was just talking about with me going into a consulting. So what we do at Ingenuity is we focus on teacher wellness. We focus on helping teachers with that coping strategies and coping and connecting with their environment, with themselves, with the trauma, so that they can move on.
Mm-hmm.
Because me, my experience as an educator in the classroom, like I stated earlier, being a young mom, being a wife at a young age, and carrying the family, we go through a lot, even as educators. And sometimes it's hard for people to see educators as human. They feel like we are superheroes. And it's always funny sometimes when I would see some of my prior students in the community, and they're like, "Oh, hey, Miss Bridges," but it's like a shock on their face because they can't believe I actually shop, in the same stores that they shop in, or go to the same places that they go to, because they see us as superheroes. And many times that perception is also inside of the schools. The principals and administrators, they see teachers as superheroes, not really understanding that we also have feelings. Educators, we have feelings. Those classroom instructors, they are dealing with things every day. You have some teachers who are dealing with the stresses of life, such as divorce, financial situations, health issues. Some of them are caregivers. Some of them are dealing with their traumas from childhood. And if these teachers are not healthy, then there is no way that we can have healthy students, and we definitely won't be able to get to healthy outcomes. So that is where the reigniting the passion comes from, because at Ingenuity, we help teachers to really dig down inward, and really focus on not just the surface level of wellness, because with wellness, we always hear people talk about breathing, meditating, eating well. But in order to reignite your passion, you have to understand that wellness is so much deeper than just knowing how to breathe, getting enough sleep,
Come on.
and eating the right apple. You know what I'm saying? So, wellness is being aware of your emotions, being aware of your feelings, being aware of your thoughts, and being aware of your traumas, so that you are able to do the work to get over those things, and being able to connect. So once you're able to cope with those things, then you are able to connect with your students, connect with your parents, connect with the stakeholders. So that is how that reigniting begins to um, come forward and manifest in the lives of teachers, because you have teachers who have been teaching for 20, 30 years and lost their passion. And first off, I always say, you want to make sure that you are still in this teaching game, in the education game, because you love it.
Yes.
If you're just in education because now you're sitting and you're waiting for your retirement, you're waiting for your check, you're waiting and taking up space, guess what? That's not going to cut it, especially with this generation of learners that we have. We need educators who are here for the students, here for the community, here for the village, and who are willing to do what it takes to build a generation of learners.
Absolutely. That is phenomenal. And I love this. And I stand behind what you're saying 100% because it's true. And I love that you pointed out that that wellness is not just, like you said, breathing and making sure you're exercising, but it's a whole self awareness,
Yes.
like where you are and what you think and what you believe and how you're perceiving yourself and your job and your students and everything around you. All of that deal contributes to your wellness. So, well stated. Great job. So, what are you saying to teachers who find themselves where their passion has waned or is slowly seeping? How do you feel like you can help them?
So, my first advice would be, reflect on your own core values. As a teacher, as an educator, As a teacher leader, even principals, reflect on your core values. And it's okay if your passion has changed. Because, sometimes as educators, we feel like we have to stick to this one thing. We can't pivot, we can't make any changes. This is how I started it, this is how I need to finish it. That's not true. It is okay if your passion has changed, because if your passion changed, so will your heart and your desires. And if you don't have the passion for kids, if you don't have the passion for educating students and helping them, then you should not be in the teaching profession anyway. So I say reflect on your core values. And I have to keep it real. That's what we do at Ingenuity. But for those who know that teaching is their calling and they have been chosen for this and willing to put in the work, you want to make sure that your core values align with the school mission and the vision, so that you know that you are in the right place. And that way, your autonomy and your voice will not be silenced. Because when you feel like your voice has been taken away, when you feel like your autonomy has been taken away and you don't have any choice or any say so when it comes to helping your kids, and the administration is not supporting you, then you won't want to be there anyway. So that's going to remove or dismantle your desire. And then you want to also make sure that you are still doing what you love, especially veteran teachers. It is important that you are in this game in education because you're doing what you love. And I also believe that if veteran teachers are doing what they love, they're going to encourage new teachers to come in, and they're going to help them become teacher leaders because they are already teacher leaders. But if you are in a toxic situation and a negative school culture and climate, there is no way that your new teachers are going to want to stay around those veteran teachers who are full of toxicity. So you want to make sure that everybody is on the same page. The positive school climate and culture is being built and supported and developed. And you want to make sure that these veteran teachers are helping to build future teacher leaders in the new teachers. And sometimes the negativity in the school culture comes from territorial situations. Um, it comes from, and some people might get upset, but because they really don't have a voice at home, then they want to come to the school and control everything. And I've seen it through my years of experience. I've been in education over 15 years, and I've seen it. So you want to make sure that those type of things are not hindering your school culture. And that's where we come in at Ingenuity. Those are the type of things that we help deal with. We help to build positive school cultures by bringing in that self-awareness, that self-management, self-regulation, the SEL, social emotional learning, emotional intelligence. And we just help educators become aware of themselves, their emotions, their pain, their challenges, and their purpose. And once we can get through all of those negative things, then we can help them with a purpose, and understanding that through your purpose, you are able to reach the students. You are able to make a difference. You are able to impact the students and build those generational learners.
I love it because a well teacher impacts students in a completely different way than a teacher that is not well and that is not self aware. I love what you said, being real with yourself about, do you still really have passion to teach? Like, has your passion changed? And I, being a former classroom teacher, I know firsthand how we operate as teachers, right? And so I know sometimes that can take, no, all the time. It takes a lot of being honest and
Mm-hmm.
having courage to even be able to come to that conclusion that your passion that you knew you once had and you gave it your all and you stayed up late and you worked on the weekends, it was all coming from a place of passion and love for what you did. And you see yourself changing, but if you don't admit to that as a teacher, right? And it could be for different reasons. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to leave the field of
Mm-hmm.
teaching. It may just be you need to put some things in perspective, or it may be that it is time to transition, like you said. But the biggest thing is just being honest about that, because we all see it,
Exactly.
right? And we all feel it.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. And and it's not, we're not saying that you're a bad teacher. We're not saying that you're a bad educator. Your passion changed, and it's okay.
It's
And
okay.
like you said, you may be reaching a point where you feel like you can make a greater impact in a different way, and that is okay.
It's okay.
But you don't want to get stuck doing something that you don't enjoy anymore. That is why we're here today talking about reigniting your passion. But before you can reignite your passion, you have to know what your passion is. You have to make sure you know that you're in the right place. And
Yeah.
if you are, then you start taking the steps to do the work. So you start focusing on things that you can control. And this is really for my new teachers as well. You
Hmm.
focus on those things that you can control. You set those boundaries.
Yes.
There is no need to look for validation. You've been called to do this work. You are the expertise in the class, in the building. Don't silence yourself. Don't silence your own voice and your own perceptions and your own perspectives, but you definitely set those boundaries so that you can have time to reflect and build. Because if you're doing for everyone else, when are you going to have time to pour into yourself? And then see, when you're not pouring into yourself and doing that self-care and having that wellness, then that's
Hmm.
when you begin to feel that overwhelm and that burnout. So it's very important that you set those boundaries. And another thing that I'm really, really big on is optimizing your time and your resources. Many times in the education field, and I don't know why this is so prevalent in the classrooms, in the school, because we teach the students how to communicate, we teach them how to work cooperatively, but it is so hard for teachers sometimes to share resources. And that just baffles me. I sometimes I sit and I say, you know what? This is really some kind of crazy, like my grandmother would say. We're teaching kids how to build community, but amongst the adults, they don't want to share their lesson plans. They don't want to share their ideas. They want to be known for the first one to be out in the hallway. It's just a competition, but that's that territorial thing. And what some people don't realize is our students see this.
Oh
They're
yeah.
picking up on it. So what are you really putting out there in the atmosphere? What are you really giving off? So it is important to optimize your resources and your time, because if you do that, you have more time to invest in the students. You have more time to reflect on your lessons. You have more time to build that community. And when you get into these professional learning communities, you can really say, okay, I did this, it worked for this student. Let's see if it'll work for yours. Let's help the new teachers with their classroom management. Let's help the veteran teachers who feel like they are overwhelmed and they're ready to walk out because it's too much. If we begin to build that community in our schools again, like we used to have back in the old days, everybody helped everyone, everyone worked together, it would begin to collapse time, and the turnover rate would not be so high. People will then enjoy coming back to school and really being there for their students. And it just leverage is the key. Leverage, saving time, being there for each other, and building that community.
Absolutely. And I love that so much because that piece is so huge, and it goes back to the time management, right? And we know among some teachers, there's this thing where there's a pride of like being a martyr almost, like, oh, I spent all night, oh, and all my weekends, and oh, all my time. I just, oh, they stand in the building to 8, 9 o'clock at night. Then they take the work home. Then they work all day Saturday and all day Sunday. And it's almost like that's a badge of honor. But if you are
Mm-hmm.
going to maintain your passion as a teacher, that's not going to work. That's not,
Mm-mm.
like you said, it is going to lead to burnout. And so just making sure you have those boundaries. I love it. I love it. And what you gave the novice teachers about the boundaries, the sooner you learn that, the better. The sooner you learn that, the better. If you put those habits in place of setting your own boundaries, because we both know in the school system, uh, others don't set those boundaries. As much
Mm-mm.
as you'll give, they will take, right? on all levels. That can be
All of
students, that can be peers, that can be administration. If you keep saying yes, 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 they will keep on asking, 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 and you'll be giving, 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 right? Pulling you away from that self awareness and that wellness that you need yourself. So that was really awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes, and you said something very important there, pulling you away from that self-awareness that you need, because as you stated, if you are constantly saying yes, when you're saying yes to others, you're saying no to yourself
Mm-hmm.
because you're not allowing time for yourself. You're not allowing time for your family. You're not allowing time for the things that's supposed to be important. You know, your job is important because you need your coins, you need your money, but your family is most important because those are the ones that's going to be there with you when you're going through. Because see, what I have learned about the workplace is the day you are not there, they are going to fill that position. So guess what? The show must go on. And that is why it's important that educators, professionals take care of themselves, take care of their families, because the job is going to be there. And if you're at work trying to worry about um, getting validation, you don't really have a true passion.
Mm.
That's the truth. If you're at work just doing things just to be seen, you don't have a true passion for the students. You don't have a passion for the kids. You're just doing things because you want to be seen. And it is so time out for that because our students are suffering. The education system is suffering. The turnover rate is so high, and it's high across the world. This is everywhere. So, could you just imagine a world without educators? Who are going to teach our children? I have a grandbaby that's getting ready to come up, and oh my God, I often think about that. Who is going to be left to teach my baby the fundamentals of reading, writing, and arithmetic, like we used to say? And that is why it is important that
Mm-hmm.
we have people, we have support groups, we have supportive communities that will help these educators reignite their passion for teaching and learning. Because if we have a nation that is not producing lifelong learners, we are going to be a sad case. And it's getting there. And we need to do something to interrupt the chaos. The chaos of the educational system, it is time for it to be interrupted. It needs to be broken down and rebuilt. I am so tired of, oh, we're going to tweak this, we're going to change this. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing and getting the same results. So it's time for the insanity to leave out of the education system because our students, our generation of learners, they are suffering. And until the passion is reignited, the true passion is reignited, and we have those educators who really know and understand what their core values are and understand and know that they want to be in that classroom and put in the work. And these districts, if they do not afford the opportunity for support groups for teachers to build those positive communities, to have teachers supported by instructional coaches and therapists and the right medical care and being able to seek counseling and not feeling guilty because they have to take time off, because that was the issue for me. I would have to take time off throughout the school year to take care of my husband. But one thing that they began to understand about Danielle was 32 was going to come first because I had to take care of mine. But if you don't have the coping strategies, if you don't have the skills and the emotional intelligence to get you through that, you feel less of a teacher. You start questioning your ability. You start questioning your expertise. You start questioning, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And then what happens when you're standing in front of your students? Then the imposter syndrome takes over, and you're not able to effectively teach your students. And then at the end of the year, when you get the state testing scores, that really mess your head up because all your kids done scored unset. So it's just a downward spiral. So if we're not building up our teachers, how do you expect the teachers to build up the students? It's not going to happen. We have
Mm.
to interrupt the chaos. Hey, Valeria. Hey, Demetra.
I saw y'all say, hey, I didn't want to stop her flow. I love it so much. You said we got to interrupt the chaos, and we do. And part of that interrupting the chaos is something, and it's something that I teach, whether I'm talking to teachers, parents, students, whomever, that self advocacy, right? Because sometimes we cannot wait on the chaos to be interrupted by others or those who we feel should be, like you said, tearing it all down, starting it over. Let's do something different. We've been waiting on that. I know I spent 20 almost 20 years in the classroom and yet waited to see that change that we all prayed for and desired, as educators. And so a big part of that is advocating for yourself. And you talked about that when you said if you have to take off and go to the doctor, you take off and go to the doctor. And I just had that conversation with somebody today. I'm saying, you know what's going to happen, right? You're going to have to either save yourself or save them. I said, what's happening? You're
Right.
saving everybody else. And should you drop right now, stroke out and die, they are totally going to step over you and fill your position, just like you said, right? But I think a part of that too is, like you said, the imposter syndrome, the guilt that kicks in, and then also it's a measure of fear. Sometimes, as teachers,
Mm,
when we have passion waning, there's a fear to do something different. Or like when you talked about the core values, okay, you're not supposed to leave the teaching field, right? But if your core values don't align with that school, what is the harm in finding the right school? Right? Finding the right school so that you can be the best fit and you can be your best self, not just for you, but for that particular school. If you don't agree, if your core values don't align, you don't agree what's happening with administration, you don't like decisions being made, you're not going to be your best self. And it'll constantly have this pen in your passion that is just constantly seeping out day by day by day.
exactly.
And I don't know about other teachers, but I know I spent a period of time pulling up to the school building, sitting in my car and trying to convince myself to go into the building. And I remember one particular, I was at that school for 2 years and I did that almost every day. Sometimes I would have to call a friend and say, I'm sitting outside. Why was I doing that? Just not making the change that was needed to be made. And so I did end up making the change, thank God, but it took some time. Me coming into what you said earlier, self awareness. We want to be okay. And like you said earlier, you were a nurse. That's a pretty big pivot. So what you learned in your degree as a nurse, how much did it actually transferred over to teaching? I know all of it didn't, right? And so
Right.
you actually pivot and start over, but it was okay. So I want teachers, as you are working on and you're evaluating yourself right now, even as you're listening to this, you're saying where you can see now where your passion started to fall off. What can you do now to move forward? How can you make the changes? Don't fear. Don't fear. Go ahead and make those changes for yourself. And Demetra says, or these days, the position will remain open and then all suffer. Now, we have seen that as well.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely. Yes. And I'm enjoying this because this is something that needs to be said. And like Demetra is saying, the kids suffer. The position is open because no one wants to come in that school.
Mhm.
So you may have a pool of 800 substitutes, but because your school culture is so negative, because you may have people there who don't want to be there because those core values are not aligned. You may have administration there who are not supporting the teachers. So you have people that don't want to come, and then you have the situations where you have teachers who are stuck in a situation at a school because principals are blocking their transfers. You have some teachers who are coming from medical appointments, dealing with their own personal health issues, but they are afraid, like you said, the fear, they can't leave their job because they need the insurance. But still, that they're going through this. Administrators may know that they're experiencing this, and sometimes the administrators will just pass them on by, don't even ask them how they're doing. There's no support there for them. So it's like you said, that pin, all of those outside factors is like a pin, and it's causing the passion to seep out slowly. And our students are suffering. So, my biggest thing, and thinking about all of that, the biggest thing that's missing is the empathy piece.
Mm,
We need to learn how to be more empathetic to each other as a community of educators in the school. And I often tell people all the time, because it was so funny to me, like when I would leave for a time, because sometimes I would leave for Christmas break and I would not finish the school year
okay.
because I would have a family issue. My husband, would maybe be experiencing things. I may be experiencing something, something happened in the family, and this was happening consecutively. And now I understand that that was all for this journey that God has me on now, to be able to help others with their wellness and with their coping. But it would be funny when I would go back to work and, I would hear people say, well, I don't understand why so and so have to be off. And I don't understand this and I don't understand that, until it happened to them.
Okay.
And see, that is the key. People don't understand what people are going through until it happens to them. But why can't we be empathetic before that? Why can't we have these support groups in the schools before it gets to that place? These communities built into the school system, and not just doing a wellness room. Yeah, the wellness rooms are nice. Having a little yoga chair, exercise here and there is nice. Focusing on wellness on Wednesdays every now and then, that's a start. But I'm talking about really building it inside of the community. Making this something that is just like the curriculum is a part of the school, wellness needs to be a part of the school, because that is how that passion is going to be reignited, because then everyone is able to be in a safe space. They don't have to feel guilty about choosing themselves. They're understanding self regulation, self awareness, emotional intelligence, and they're understanding how to cope with their personal life and connect it with their work life, to be
Mm,
able to be the authentic educators that they've been called to be.
absolutely. Absolutely. That community is so needed because, the happy, like you said, not a here and there or a day of massages, a little 10-minute massages. Like you said, it's a good start. But teachers are finding a way to try to be well and cope. It's usually around happy hour if we tell the truth, right?
Right,
It's like meet up after work. We got to talk about it. Let's drink the
right,
sorrows away and get up in the morning and do it again, And so, like
right.
it should be a part of what's happening every day, just like curriculum is. Absolutely love it. Daniel, you've given some amazing wisdom today, both to teachers and to administrators, and our framework aligns in that. When I talk to teachers about that wellness portion. And so you can talk to myself. You can contact myself there at trynow.consulting.org. Book a consultation as a teacher or as administrator, because we're saying things need to change, but we can actually assist you with
Right.
bringing that change about. We can actually come into your building and assist you so that you don't have that high teacher turnover, so that you don't have teachers there that are burned out or unhappy and unproductive, right? Because that doesn't help anybody. Danielle, where can they find you?
Yes, I am on Facebook and Instagram as the Classroom Connector, and also on LinkedIn as Danielle Bridges. And we also do the same thing at Ingenuity Consultants. We come into the schools, we provide coaching, one on one coaching with new teachers. We often say that we bring the reigniting passion with fun and flair. We like to have fun. I'm from New Orleans. I'm all about the second lines and the good music, and just being motivational, and encouraging and empowering educators, because we need y'all in the classroom. We need our teachers who are still excited about teaching. We need them in the classroom to build our generation of learners. So I'm the Classroom Connector on Facebook and Instagram.
Absolutely. And we can guarantee you, both myself and Danielle, you bring us in, it's gonna be a good time. And it's gonna be effective, right? We are
Yes,
not taking those boring PDs that none of your staff wants to attend and they sit there and try to get other things done or they zone out. It is not that. It will be amazing. So you have our information. You definitely can contact us and we'll be excited and
yes.
honored to assist you because we want to see everybody win, right? We are not the educators who are against the administrators. You know how you have that war going on, teachers against administrators, administrators against teachers. We are not those people. We want everybody to come together. We love the kumbaya. We need to work together to make it happen for who? The students at the end of
Yes,
the day, right? All
yes.
right. So I've enjoyed talking with you, Danielle. This has been super amazing. If you came in, make sure you share with a teacher or an administrator that you know. And we'll be coming back soon with more here at Try Now Consulting. You all have an amazing. Oh, before we go, let me say real quick, got an ebook coming out in just a few days. It is called now. Teachers, you can read this as well. This is for the parents also. It's called Can My Family Be Well? It's an ebook. It's a reflective ebook. I'm excited to be bringing that out. That definitely goes along with the reset for parents, but definitely an ebook that can be used in the school system as well as you are holding parenting classes. Some teachers have I'm sorry, some schools have parent university, or they do other different things to try to boost their parent engagement. This will really help you out. So you'll be able to grab that in a few days if you follow our page, and excited to share that. So you all have an amazing night, and we will see you soon.
Good night.